Yeah, I figured I'd do a little video. Finally got, this is a 2000 Dodge Dakota four-wheel drive sport. I got the transmission out. Problems I had, as you can see, the throwout bearing was shot. There's no bearings left in it. It's just that's how it was hanging when I took it apart. It's just the outside pieces. That thing here is wore down. It started squealing is how I knew it was going bad. It made that squealing noise, and when I pushed in the clutch, it got even worse. So if you're getting a squealing noise when you're pushing your clutch in and out, your throwout bearing's shot. One thing I did run into right here, my bell housing, this bell housing's so thin. If you just tapped on that with a hammer, you'd pop a hole right in it. So be careful doing that. That was already like that. That's where the differential, the front differential hooks into. With your straight axles or whatever, you won't have that hooked into there. But with the way this thing's set up with the independent small axles, it's done like that. But I'm going to go ahead and replace the starter, since the starter's real hard to get to. Replacing the manifold bolts that go down to the exhaust, because them things they were so rusted it was terrible. I had to cut those off. So I'm going to put grade 8 coated bolts in there to help maybe keep them in a little bit better condition. But the transmission itself is okay. There's no leaks. You got the tail shaft. Now, I dropped the transfer case before I dropped this because it wouldn't come out because of the cross member. And the cross member is welded in there because it holds your front, your torsion bars for your suspension in the front. In the Dakotas, I think it's different with the 1500s. I could be wrong, but anyway, they use this. It's a NV 3500. They use this in a lot of the Dodges and Chevys and everything else. Here's the number for it. It's the manual. Now they do make a better transmission than this one. It holds better. It's a NV 4500, which is a little bit better transmission. I'm probably going to do, this truck's got over 200,000 miles, so I'm probably going to do a straight axle conversion and put a bigger transmission. I've got a 5.7 that I can swap over into this too. That's going to be way down the road. I don't even drive the truck very much, but remember the exhaust bolts. And another thing is, I didn't want to cut the pipe out. See, the transmission goes above that. I did take it loose from the manifolds, but I wasn't cutting that out because my torque converter, or my Cadillac converter and everything runs into that. And because this frame's narrower than like a 1500, there's no room to get that thing out. So you can't just pull the exhaust backwards. It just doesn't work like that because you got this bend right there. And it just don't work. Trying to show it. But that's what you got. I'm not to get dirty. I got clean clothes on, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to end up pulling I'm replacing the clutch and starter, and I've got to see how bad the flywheel is. Probably send it off to have it turned down. But the bolt that broke out is right. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right about in there. It holds this front diff in, as you can see. So, yeah, it was a pain getting out. Starter laying there. I'm putting a new one in. So anyway, it wasn't too bad as far as it's all the other stuff that was so aged that it was just hard to get that stuff loose. It was hard. I had to use a little, one of these will be your best friend right here if you got air. One of these will be your best friend. You can get in there, or even one of them. I used this one. I didn't really use that one. But this one right here got up in there, and I was able to cut those manifold bolts loose because there's no turning them out. They just ain't. They're not threaded into nothing. They just got a nut on the backside, and the nut was completely gone from rust, but it was enough to where you couldn't pull it out. So, and I'm upgrading. Like I said, I'm upgrading some bolts. I went to Tractor Supply and got some grade 8 zinc coated ones. So hopefully they'll last a little bit longer, but I've already got the clutch and everything. I'm waiting on another thing to check when you're pulling this out is the transmission mount on here is shot. There's a little bit of rubber, but it's not connected. So I'd say this thing was moving around quite a bit, shifting gears or whatever. But that's it. It's a cheap transmission. There ain't no doubt about it. This thing is dirt cheap. I mean, it is just so thin. That's just so thin. You'd pop a hole, something hit that thing, it's going to just destroy your transmission. But the good thing is about the 4500, the bell housing's removable. This one isn't. It's a complete thing from here. It splits right here, and it's complete all the way out to the bell housing. So there's no replacing the bell housing. You just got to get either this front whole piece or a used transmission. That's the only choice. And if you're going to do that, you might as well upgrade to the 4500 and just buy the bell housing. You can order them, just buy the bell housing that bolts that up to whatever engine you got. Because on that one, you could swap that out and put it onto another motor if it's a diesel or whatever. But I'm planning on putting a 4500 on a 5.7, maybe a 6.4 after I stroke it out. But another thing is get you a good work light. Thing comes in handy. It's a Husky, but anything. And then I carry this thing around, but as long as you're under there, they go dead on you. So, and impact guns, they help you. Now, to get to these top bolts right here, you have to pull down on the transmission and get you a long extension, and your extension's going to come clear back here to get into it. So you got to have that 1/2-inch drive. I run a 1/2-inch drive and one of those swivel sockets, and wrap some tape around it. That way it doesn't dangle while you're trying to connect it. And I had it here somewhere. Yeah. I'm just doing this so if anybody has, see what I did? That way it keeps it a little bit stiff, but it allows it to move too. But as you can see, you can flex it still. But that's pretty much how much extension I had to use to get up underneath there. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. Like and share and subscribe. And another thing is, I recommend you change, if that thing's still the same one, is this knuckle right here. Mine's ate up pretty good, and it was I could feel it in the steering. It was kind of locking up in certain areas. So I'm replacing this too. And always check your U-joints and stuff while you're in here, because if they're bad, you want to go ahead and change those while you got it out here. Mine look pretty good. This is the front shaft. I don't know what my back shafts look like. I haven't even dealt with that yet. But you always want to check that stuff, because you got to drop it anyway. So you might as well upgrade on some stuff while you're in here. Those things there look good. The rear shaft ain't hard to drop. Front one ain't either. So mine look pretty good. The rubber steel's good. So I think we're good to go. Thanks for watching. Like I said, share, subscribe, whatever. I appreciate you watching.